Welcome to Retrospective Rewinds, where history is reimagined and the past comes alive in ways you've never seen before. Imagine a world where the sands of time flow differently, where the Egyptian empire never faded into the annals of history, but continued to thrive and shape the world as we know it. Imagine bustling metropolises along the Nile, merging ancient grandeur with futuristic innovation and a civilization that outshines even the most fantastical tales. Picture a realm where the pharaohs' legacies are not just relics in museums, but living testimonies to an unbroken lineage of divine rulers. Envision an empire where the might of the warriors of the Nile was matched only by their wisdom, and where the echoes of ancient gods still resonate in the modern world. Join us on this extraordinary journey through time in our latest series, The Egyptian Empire Never Declines. Uncover the secrets of a world where Egypt is the unchallenged beacon of civilization, influencing everything from global politics to technology and culture. Dive into this alternate reality and explore the what-ifs of history with us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Retrospective Rewinds for more captivating journeys into the worlds that could have been. Your adventure into the past begins now. Chapter 1: Dawn of Perpetuity. In a world where history took an alternate path, the Egyptian empire never faced its downfall. Instead, it thrived and evolved, becoming a beacon of stability and innovation. The story of this enduring empire begins with the unbroken line of pharaohs who, generation after generation, upheld the glory of their ancestors while steering the nation through the turbulent waters of the ancient world. The key to their longevity lay in their diplomatic prowess. Egyptian envoys, skilled in the art of negotiation, successfully countered Roman ambitions, creating a delicate balance of power in the Mediterranean. They fostered alliances with neighboring civilizations, ensuring that Egypt never stood alone against external threats. These alliances were not merely political, they were also cultural and economic, strengthening Egypt's position in the ancient world. Militarily, Egypt became a fortress of innovation. The pharaohs commissioned the brightest minds to develop advanced technologies in warfare. From chariots that outpaced the finest Roman cavalry to siege weapons that could hold any invader at bay, the military might of Egypt was unmatched. The soldiers, revered as protectors of the two lands, were the embodiment of the empire's enduring strength. The economic resilience of Egypt was as much a product of its resourceful people as it was of the bountiful Nile. The river, the lifeblood of the empire, was harnessed in ways previously unimaginable. Ingenious irrigation systems transformed arid lands into fertile fields, ensuring abundant harvests that could feed the growing population and support the empire's technological ambitions. Amidst this backdrop of political savvy, military might, and economic prosperity, culture and art flourished. Temples and monuments rose higher, their walls adorned with intricate hieroglyphs that told the stories of a civilization that refused to fade into the annals of history. Painters, sculptors, and craftsmen pushed the boundaries of their art, creating works that captivated not only the hearts of Egyptians, but also those of far-off lands. In this chapter of an unending saga, Egypt stood as a testament to what a civilization could achieve when guided by visionary leaders, supported by ingenious minds, and driven by an indomitable spirit. The dawn of perpetuity was not just an era of survival, it was an age of unparalleled prosperity and cultural renaissance. Chapter 2: Rivers of Time. The Nile, the eternal river, had always been the heart of Egypt. In this alternate history, its role as the sustainer of the empire reached new heights. The Egyptians, masters of engineering and architecture, developed advanced irrigation systems that transformed the landscape. These marvels of engineering allowed the waters of the Nile to reach distant fields, turning barren lands into fertile grounds teeming with life. The architectural feats of this era were nothing short of miraculous. New cities emerged along the riverbanks, showcasing grand boulevards and imposing structures. Thebes and Memphis, ancient cities of the empire, expanded into sprawling metropolises, their skylines dominated by towering obelisks and statues of gods and pharaohs. These cities became centers of culture and learning, attracting scholars and artists from across the known world. Environmental management became a cornerstone of Egyptian governance. The pharaohs appointed wise stewards who oversaw the management of natural resources. They developed methods to predict the Nile's flooding, turning a force of nature into a predictable and beneficial event. Their expertise in water management not only secured the empire's food supply, but also protected it from the harsh whims of nature. The Nile, in this unending epoch of Egyptian supremacy, was more than a river. It was a symbol of the empire's resilience and ingenuity. Its waters nourished the land, but they also nurtured the soul of a civilization. Festivals and celebrations along the riverbanks were common, where people from all walks of life came together to honor the river that gave them life. In the rivers of time, Egypt's mastery over the Nile exemplified the harmony between human ambition and the natural world. It was a testament to the empire's ability to adapt, innovate, and thrive. The river, which had cradled the civilization in its infancy, now propelled it into a future of boundless possibility. Chapter 3: Gods Among Men. In this unending epoch of the Egyptian Empire, the divine and the mortal realms intertwined more closely than ever before. The pharaohs, seen as living gods, were not just rulers, they were the bridge between the heavens and the earth. Their divine status brought a sense of order and stability, deeply entwined with the spiritual life of the empire. The Egyptian pantheon evolved, with old gods taking on new roles and attributes, reflecting the changing times and needs of the people. Temples, grander than any before, dotted the landscape. These were not mere places of worship, they were centers of learning, healing, and community. The priests who served in these temples held a revered place in society, as they were thought to be the voice of the gods on earth. Religious festivals and rituals became more elaborate and frequent, serving as a way for the citizens to connect with the divine. These events were not just spiritual, they were also social, bringing together people from all corners of the empire. The rituals were a blend of solemnity and celebration, reflecting the Egyptians' deep reverence for their gods and the joy they found in their presence. The temples themselves were marvels of architecture and engineering. Beyond their religious significance, they were symbols of the pharaoh's power and piety. The temple walls, adorned with intricate carvings and hieroglyphs, told stories of gods, pharaohs, and the people. They were not static shrines, but living centers of culture that evolved with the empire. The global spread of Egyptian religion marked a new era of cultural influence. Egyptian deities were worshipped in far-off lands, and the empire's religious practices were adopted by other civilizations. This spiritual expansion was a testament to the empire's reach and the universal appeal of its beliefs and rituals. In Gods Among Men, the intertwining of the divine and the mortal realms elevated the Egyptian empire to new heights. The pharaohs, as divine entities, brought a sense of unity and purpose, guiding their people through an age of prosperity and spiritual awakening. Chapter 4: Empire of the Sun. In the Empire of the Sun, the Egyptian realm knew no bounds. Stretching its wings like Horus, the empire embarked on a journey of expansion, not just of land, but of culture, knowledge, and influence. The story of this era is one of strategic expansion, where the might of the Egyptian military was matched by the wisdom of its leaders. The pharaohs, guided by visions of a united world under the Egyptian sun, dispatched their generals across borders. But these campaigns were different from the conquests of old. They were executed with a blend of military prowess and diplomatic tact, seeking not just to conquer, but to integrate and unify. As the empire expanded, it embraced the cultures it encountered. From the sands of Nubia to the shores of the Mediterranean, each conquered land was woven into the rich tapestry of the empire. The Egyptians did not seek to erase local cultures. Instead, they integrated them, allowing a unique cultural synthesis to blossom. Egyptian gods stood alongside local deities, and pharaonic decrees were inscribed alongside native scripts. This approach fostered a sense of unity and prevented the flames of rebellion, enriching Egyptian culture with a diversity of traditions and practices. The might of Egypt was not confined to the land, it reigned supreme over the seas as well. The empire built a formidable navy, commanding the waves of the Mediterranean and the Red Seas. These ships, adorned with the Eye of Ra, were not just instruments of war. They were the vessels of trade and exploration, extending the reach of the empire to distant lands. They established trade routes and made contact with unknown civilizations, marking Egypt as a maritime power of the ancient world. This chapter of Egyptian history saw the flourishing of trade routes like never before. The empire became the heart of the ancient world's trade network. The Silk Road and maritime spice routes, heavily influenced by Egyptian traders, brought untold wealth into the empire. Exotic goods from distant lands filled the markets of Thebes and Memphis, and with them came ideas, philosophies, and knowledge. Egypt became a melting pot, a marketplace of the world's cultures and intellect. As the sun set on this glorious chapter, the legacy of the Egyptian empire shone bright. Its influence stretched far beyond its physical borders, shaping politics, culture, and economies across the known world. The Egyptian model of governance, its culture and technological prowess became a beacon, emulated by civilizations far and wide. In the Empire of the Sun, Egypt stood not as a conqueror but as a unifier, a bringer of light to a world that looked upon it with awe and admiration. Chapter 5: The Golden Age of Innovation. In an Egypt that stood undiminished through time, a golden age of innovation dawned, marked by extraordinary breakthroughs in science, technology, and the arts. This era saw the empire reach the pinnacle of its intellectual and creative powers as it fostered an environment where ideas could flourish. Egyptian scholars, their minds unshackled by the concerns of war or decline, ventured deep into the mysteries of the natural world. They unlocked secrets of the stars and the earth, their studies in astronomy and geology far surpassing what was known in the ancient world. These scholars charted the heavens with remarkable accuracy, their celestial maps guiding not just farmers and priests, but also sailors to distant lands. In the field of medicine, Egyptian healers made groundbreaking advances. They developed treatments and surgical techniques that would remain unmatched for centuries. The schools of medicine in Thebes and Heliopolis became renowned across the world, drawing students eager to learn the secrets of Egyptian healing. The empire's technological prowess was evident in its architecture and engineering feats. The construction of new cities and the restoration of ancient ones were undertaken with a blend of traditional methods and innovative techniques. Aqueducts, more advanced than any before, brought water to arid regions, turning them into oases of life. Artists and craftsmen, inspired by the wealth of knowledge and resources at their disposal, embarked on ambitious projects. Their works, be it in painting, sculpture, or jewelry, reflected both the glorious past of their civilization and the new ideas that the present brought. They experimented with new forms and materials, their creations adorning not just temples and palaces, but also public spaces, making art a part of everyday life. In this golden age, Egypt did not just preserve its heritage, it built upon it, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. The legacy of this era was not confined to the empire's borders. It rippled across the world, influencing far-off lands and future generations. The golden age of innovation was a testament to the empire's enduring spirit, a period where Egypt truly became the light of the world. Chapter 6: Art that Lives Forever. In the Egyptian Empire's unending chronicle, the arts not only survived through the ages, but thrived, becoming a timeless testament to its cultural grandeur. The story of Egyptian art in this era is one of eternal evolution. The architects and builders of the empire, drawing inspiration from millennia of tradition, embarked on projects that were both a homage to the past and a bold leap into the future. Monumental structures rose from the sands, each a marvel blending ancient motifs with contemporary flair. These edifices were not just buildings, they were canvases upon which the story of a nation was etched. Sculptors and painters, too, were caught in this wave of creative renaissance. They experimented with forms and materials, their works reflecting the changing times. The art of this period was characterized by a dynamism that captured the essence of an empire in flux. Yet, amidst this change, the quintessential Egyptian aesthetic, with its bold lines and symbolic imagery, remained a steadfast anchor. Preservation of the ancient arts was a matter of pride for the empire. Techniques to protect and restore old artworks and monuments were developed, ensuring that the legacy of the past remained unblemished. These efforts were not just about maintaining history, they were about keeping the dialogue between the past and present alive. Egypt's artistic influence extended far beyond its borders. Through trade and cultural exchanges, Egyptian art found its way to distant lands. It inspired artists and craftsmen worldwide, becoming a gold standard for beauty and craftsmanship. Art in this age was not just the preserve of the elite. It permeated every layer of society, from the grand temples and palaces to the humblest homes. Art was a language that every Egyptian spoke, a thread that wove together the fabric of their daily lives. In art that lives forever, the enduring legacy of Egyptian art is celebrated. It stands as a beacon of human creativity and expression, a legacy not confined to stone and paint, but etched into the very soul of civilization. Chapter 7. Warriors of the Nile. In an empire where the sun never set, the Egyptian military stood as the guardians of its glory. Warriors of the Nile is a tale of valor, strategy, and innovation that kept the empire safe and dominant through the ages. The backbone of the Egyptian military was its disciplined and formidable army. Soldiers revered across the empire were the embodiment of strength and honor. These warriors were not just skilled in the art of war, they were also ambassadors of Egyptian culture and power. Their presence in distant lands under Egyptian control symbolized stability and order. The pharaohs, ever mindful of the importance of a strong military, invested in the development of advanced weaponry and tactics. Egyptian blacksmiths and engineers crafted weapons that were marvels of their time, from swords that could cut through the toughest armor to siege engines that could breach any wall. The military's tactical prowess was honed in training grounds and on battlefields, ensuring that Egypt's soldiers were prepared for any challenge. Naval supremacy was another pillar of the empire's military might. The Egyptian navy, ruling the waves of the Mediterranean and Red Seas, was a force to be reckoned with. These fleets were not just instruments of war, but also protectors of the empire's extensive trade routes. The presence of Egyptian warships ensured safe passage for merchant vessels, making the empire a maritime power of renown. The military also played a crucial role in maintaining internal stability. From the bustling cities along the Nile to the distant colonies, Egyptian soldiers ensured that the peace and order of the empire were undisturbed. They were the pharaoh's hands, reaching out to uphold justice and enforce the law. In Warriors of the Nile, the story of the Egyptian military is one of unwavering duty and unmatched skill. It's a saga of men and women who stood as the bulwark against chaos, ensuring that the empire they served remained a beacon of civilization in a turbulent world. Chapter 8. The Crossroads of Empires. In the epoch where the Egyptian empire stood unchallenged, it became the nexus of the ancient world. The Crossroads of Empires chronicles Egypt's role as a mediator, influencer, and balancer in a world teeming with emerging powers. Egypt, under the wise rule of its pharaohs, became the diplomatic hub of the ancient world. The pharaohs, seen as both divine rulers and shrewd politicians, navigated the complex web of international relations with unmatched tact. Egyptian envoys, renowned for their wisdom and eloquence, were often found in the courts of distant lands, forging alliances, negotiating peace, and establishing trade agreements. The empire's strategic location, bridging Africa and Asia, made it a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and goods. The bustling markets of Thebes and Alexandria were not just centers of commerce, they were the meeting points of the world. Here, one could find spices from India, silks from China, and olive oil from Greece, alongside the finest Egyptian linen and gold. Culturally, Egypt became a beacon that attracted scholars, artists, and philosophers from across the known world. The libraries and schools of Alexandria and Memphis were legendary, their halls echoing with debates and discussions that shaped the intellectual landscape of the era. Egypt, in its role as the crossroads of empires, became the birthplace of new ideas that would travel far and wide. Economically, the empire's influence was felt across the globe. The Egyptian model of trade and commerce was emulated by many. Its currency, the gold debens, became a standard, facilitating trade across different lands. The empire's economic policies fostered stability and growth, not just within its borders, but also in its trading partners. In this chapter, Egypt stands as the crossroads of empires, a place where different worlds met and melded. It was a role that the empire embraced with grace and responsibility, ensuring that its influence was a force for stability and prosperity in a world of constant change. Chapter 9: The Pharaoh's Legacy. In a world where the Egyptian empire continued its unbroken rule, the legacy of its pharaohs was not just etched in stone, but woven into the fabric of history. The pharaoh's legacy delves into the lives, achievements, and enduring impact of these divine rulers. Each pharaoh left a unique mark on the empire. Some were great builders, commissioning monuments and temples that stood as testaments to their glory. Others were warriors, expanding the empire's borders and securing its place among the great powers of the world. There were also pharaohs who were patrons of the arts and sciences, fostering an environment where creativity and innovation flourished. The chapter narrates the story of pharaohs who introduced significant administrative reforms. These visionary rulers overhauled the empire's bureaucracy, making it more efficient and responsive to the needs of the people. Their policies ensured that the empire remained stable and prosperous, even in times of external threats and internal challenges. The pharaohs' contributions to the Egyptian pantheon were also significant. Many of them were deified, their stories becoming part of the rich tapestry of Egyptian mythology. Their temples became centers of worship and pilgrimage, drawing devotees from across the empire and beyond. The legacy of these rulers was not confined to their lifetimes. They were remembered and revered for generations, their deeds and decisions influencing the course of the empire long after they had passed into the afterlife. Their mummified remains, housed in grand tombs, were a reminder of their once mortal presence and their eternal place in Egyptian history. The pharaoh's legacy is a journey through the ages, a chronicle of rulers who were more than just kings. They were the living embodiments of the gods on earth. Their legacy was a testament to the enduring power and splendor of the Egyptian empire. Chapter 10: Sands of Change. In the Sands of Change, the eternal Egyptian empire faced the tides of modernity, adapting and evolving in a world vastly different from the one it had known for millennia. This chapter explores how the empire navigated the challenges and opportunities of a rapidly changing world. As the world entered the age of industrialization and technological advancements, Egypt did not stand as a relic of the past, but as an active participant in shaping the future. The pharaohs, ever visionary, embraced the new technologies, integrating them with the empire's rich heritage. Steam-powered machinery irrigated the fields of the Nile, and telegraph lines connected the vast empire, bringing distant lands closer. The empire's cities, once centers of ancient arts and crafts, transformed into bustling metropolises. The skyline of Thebes and Memphis melded the grandeur of ancient obelisks and pyramids with the elegance of modern architecture. These cities became melting pots of old and new, where traditional bazaars stood beside contemporary shopping districts. Politically, the empire evolved as well. The pharaohs, recognizing the changing dynamics of governance, adopted new policies that responded to the needs of a more connected and educated populace. The ancient bureaucratic system was reformed, making it more transparent and efficient, ensuring that the empire remained robust in the face of global changes. Environmental challenges were met with a blend of ancient wisdom and modern science. The empire, which had long mastered the art of living in harmony with the Nile, now applied its knowledge to combat climate change and environmental degradation. Projects to preserve the Nile's ecosystem and combat desertification were implemented, serving as models for the rest of the world. In the sands of change, the Egyptian Empire proved that it could not only withstand the test of time, but also the challenges of an ever-evolving world. It stood as a beacon of stability and innovation, a testament to the enduring spirit of a civilization that had seen the dawn of history and the dawning of a new age. Chapter 11. Echoes in Eternity. In a world where the Egyptian Empire never waned, its cultural, linguistic, and religious influences resonated far beyond its borders, echoing through time and space. Echoes in Eternity captures the profound and far-reaching impact of this enduring civilization. The chapter begins with the global cultural impact of Egypt. Egyptian art, architecture, and literature fascinated the world. Museums and galleries in far-off lands showcased Egyptian artifacts, while modern architects drew inspiration from the grandeur of ancient Egyptian design. Literature and films frequently referenced Egyptian mythology and history, captivating audiences worldwide with tales of pharaohs, gods, and pyramids. Linguistically, the Egyptian language evolved but never lost its essence. It spread across the empire, influencing the dialects and languages of conquered territories. Egyptian became a lingua franca in parts of the ancient world, facilitating communication and cultural exchange across vast distances. Religiously, the chapter explores how Egyptian spiritual beliefs and practices spread across different continents. The worship of Egyptian gods found a place in diverse cultures, sometimes merging with local beliefs to create syncretic religions. The concepts of afterlife and rebirth, so central to Egyptian religion, influenced philosophical and religious thoughts in other civilizations. The diaspora of the Egyptian people, as traders, scholars, and artists, also contributed to the empire's global influence. They carried with them the traditions, beliefs, and knowledge of their homeland, planting the seeds of Egyptian culture in foreign soils. Lastly, the chapter delves into the impact of Egypt in modern times. The empire's legacy was not just in the monuments and artifacts that survived, but in the enduring ideas and principles it imparted to the world. From governance and architecture to art and spirituality, the Egyptian influence was a thread that ran through the tapestry of human civilization. In Echoes in Eternity, the Egyptian Empire stands not merely as a historical powerhouse, but as a cultural and spiritual beacon, its influence resonating through the ages, shaping and enriching the global heritage. Chapter 12. Twilight of the Gods. As the narrative of an eternal Egyptian empire unfolds, Twilight of the Gods contemplates the future and potential challenges that even a civilization as enduring as Egypt might face. This chapter is a speculative exploration of how all empires, regardless of their strength and longevity, confront the inevitability of change and transformation. The chapter opens by considering potential internal challenges that could arise within the empire. These include the complexities of governing an ever-expanding territory, managing a diverse and evolving population, and dealing with the inevitable shifts in political and economic power dynamics. It delves into how the rigid structures of an ancient bureaucracy might adapt to the demands of a modern world, and how the unifying force of the pharaoh's divine rule might be tested by new ideologies and social movements. External threats are also examined. The emergence of new global powers, technological advancements in warfare, and shifting alliances present hypothetical scenarios where the Egyptian empire must defend its sovereignty and influence. The narrative explores how the empire, historically a beacon of stability and innovation, faces the challenges of a rapidly changing world stage. The chapter also reflects on the environmental and global challenges that no empire, regardless of its might, can ignore. These include climate change, resource depletion, and the need for sustainable development. The story examines the ways in which the ancient wisdom and adaptability of the Egyptians might be applied to address these modern issues. Finally, Twilight of the Gods contemplates the lasting legacy of the Egyptian Empire. It ponders how the achievements and stories of this great civilization would be remembered and studied by future generations. The chapter closes with a reflection on the cyclical nature of history and the enduring human spirit, as epitomized by the timeless saga of Egypt.